Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 53 units of real estate and help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So, I'm buying my first rental investment property with my wife, Christine, and I'm super excited, super pumped about it. We bought our primary residence together, and then now we're buying our first rental property together. And it was funny, like, I want this to succeed so well so that, it opens up Christine's eyes to like real estate investing, like together. Like obviously she saw me do it, kind of through the sidelines, and then just of me talking about it, because I do talk about it a lot, especially when I'm going through the motions of renovations, buying the deal, financing the deal, and trying to make the deal work. So I basically, what we did was we combined our cash together, and then we bought a new build construction Lennar home in Huntsville, Alabama for cash. And we bought it at a discount because Lennar was giving it end of the quarter sale. So prices were off, discounted by 5-10%. And on top of that, when you buy cash, you get additional 10 to 15% off. And on top of that, typically new builds will appraise for about 1 to 5% higher than the original purchase price. So if you buy it right, and depending on the rents that you can get, you can basically do a cash out refinance with some seasoning, right? So you might have to own the property for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Typically it's 3 or 6 months. And once you've owned it for that long, the lender will honor the appraised value. So I have lenders that have zero seasoning, so I can literally close and start my cash out refinance, and they'll honor the ARV because I bought it at such a huge discount, right? So you typically are working with debt service coverage ratio lenders like Convoy, Quickline Capital, CoreVest, Velocity, to name a few, right? And they're just, all they care about is your credit score. So if your credit score is like, and they'll tell you, are you above 700? I am. Great. And then they'll ask, okay, what's the rent? What's the expenses? And they'll calculate your debt service coverage ratio. So if your DSCR lender requirement is 1, that means that if your total expense is 1,000, your rent has to be 1,000, right? So I give them the numbers. My rent's $2,150. Property tax about $100 a month. Insurance about $80 a month, and then HOA is about $30 a month. And then from there, they can see, okay, this is your ARV. This is your 75% cash out or 80% cash out. This is the interest rate. This is your debt service coverage ratio. This is how much money you can pull out. And then what I'm hoping is that we want to recycle this capital, right? So if it appraises at, let's just call it 320, and we got it for 255, and assuming a 75% cash out refinance, basically we would probably leave about $12,000 to $15,000 in the deal, which is okay. And then we would recycle our capital. So at 255, we'll maybe get 240 back. And we'll use that same money again to go buy another deal, right? And we may have to replenish a little bit of the money depending on the deal that we buy. So basically, we're recycling the same capital over and over and over again. And she was just like, you can buy as many deals as you want, Steven, if you recycle the capital. And I was just like, okay, this is like motivating me to like, hopefully the rents get higher than expected. Hopefully the ARVs are better than expected. And I just can keep on pulling out money and recycling the capital. And for her, the process has been like super passive. All she had to do was move the money over. I found the deal. I have my same property manager. I found the insurance. I'm working with the lenders. And then I'm going to transfer the utilities over once we close on the property. So I'm doing all the work. So she just transferred the money over, and she's like, you can keep on doing this as long as you recycle the capital. So like, I basically want to make it easy for her. And that's the key message I'm trying to hit. Like, if you want to convince your significant other to buy in real estate, they're not like all in. Like, you have to make it so easy for them and show them, hey, look I just bought this new construction, did a cash out refinance, pulled up most of our money. These are the numbers, actual numbers, right? This is the rent. This is what I rented at. This is what the property tax is. This is what the insurance is. And then I could show her the numbers, and I'm like, look we have $1,000 in the deal. We're cash flowing $200 a month. That's $2,400 a year, but just call that vacancy occupancy. So like, we have, a modest cash return, but we only leave $15K in the deal. And then, we built like $60,000 in instant equity buying this deal, and we pulled out our money. So like, we basically put $15,000 to get $60,000 in equity and get some cash flow and own this property long term. And then you rinse and repeat that process over and over and over again, right? And then I was telling her, like, whatever money we pull back, I'll help QS it up to what we need, right? So like, this is the game. Like, we want to get a few of these properties, and we don't mind just leaving our money in the deal. And then almost, if you ever paid off property, it's almost like owning a bond, right? Like I did the math. Like, so if we put 255K cash on the deal and we rented it for 2,100, after all expenses and whatnot, like property management and all that, I think we'd get about $1,600 a month in net cash flow. And you times that by 12 and you divide that by 255, it ends up being like a 7-8% cash on cash return, which is like better than money sitting in the bank, which is giving us like 3.5%, right? So you're doubling that return, and then you're getting that constant cash flow. So I just said that, hey, if we couldn't cash out or refinance our money because it doesn't make sense, and we just leave the money there, it's okay for us to leave it there, because whatever cash that we make from this property, let's say we make $1,600 a month, we'll just take that $1,600 a month and throw it as extra principal payments to our primary residence, right? Because in our primary residence, because we want to pay off our house eventually, right? Once I sell a house, I'll probably pay off the house. But what's kind of crazy is like our mortgage is $5,500 a month. And remember, in the beginning, it's mostly interest, not much principal. Out of that $5,500, $800 goes to principal, and the rest is interest. So if I literally make another $800 payment to the property, you double the acceleration of the amortization schedule. But if I'm able to put $1,600, it'll accelerate by 2 months every time I make an extra $1,600 payment to the house. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to expedite your primary residence payoff journey, you get the best bang for your buck in the beginning when you first start the amortization schedule. Like, we started for like a year already, and we only paid down like $10,000, but we were paying $5,500 every month, right? So it would be wise to, like, whatever cash flow we make, assuming it's paid off, like, and we don't take our money out, to pay as extra payments to the properties. But what we're hoping to do is, like, we're hoping to pull our money out, and we want to buy again for the end of year sale for Lennar, which is end of November. And why that's nice is because in November, it's hard to rent out your property during the holidays, right? It's harder to rent out during Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So this property just might sit there, unfortunately, vacant or at a lower rent. And then we just can park our money there and not recycle it. And then, whatever money we make, we just throw as extra principal payments to our primary residence to help pay it off faster, because that's where you get your best return on your money. And then once it's like a better market or it's like rented out, I can refinance, pull the money out, and go buy again, right? But I just know when I buy in November, I better get an amazing deal, because I know that's gonna be harder to rent out during that time season, and the property manager will say that as well. So, it better be a good deal where it's really, really worth it, because, not as many home buyers, primary residence home buyers during the holiday season. And then investors will be the ones there. And then if I'm paying all cash, I want a very, very, very aggressive cash offers and discounts for that. Because, like I said, I'm taking the risk of not being able to rent it out immediately, right? It may take me like 3-4 months to rent it out because of the timing. So, keep you guys posted on that journey as I pull out my money to go buy another deal. So it's that's like kind of like ease them into that. And then once they see it's working, they're like, wow, like, because like to my wife, like at this point, like even if we buy another property, our quality of life doesn't necessarily improve. Like, yes, I can buy a deal with not much money in the property and make $60,000 instant equity, but that $60,000 instant equity isn't going to improve our quality of life today. It's more of a long-term wealth play, right? But in terms of like improving our life today, but like what's funny is like we took out like $255K in cash, and our lifestyle hasn't changed either. I'm like, we can do whatever we want whenever we want. Like, we're going to Glacier Park soon. We're traveling. We're going to go to Vietnam soon. I just bought a new laptop because I found it on sale. Like, I've been, I'm buying Asus ZenBook. I literally looked at it yesterday. It was $1,500, and then today on Best Buy it was $1,000. I was like, what the heck? I just bought it, right? So it's really like, it doesn't improve our, like I said, either way, if the money's sitting in the bank account, doesn't improve our lifestyle. If we buy a piece of real estate, it makes $60,000, doesn't improve lifestyle, might as well make $60,000, right? Assuming it doesn't stress us out, and it's not, right? Like, I think this is the easiest deal I bought, so I'm happy to buy more. Assuming the only challenging part now is wait for a property manager to rent it out, and then once it's rented out, then just rinse and repeat that process over and over and over again, and hoping to get 4 to 5 of these, as I start to plan for a family, because when I plan for kids, it's gonna be busy. I'm gonna be more tired, so I want to like really get the ball rolling on this so that it's automated, it's systematized, and it gets easy, right? So I just can focus on my family life, my personal life, my health, and then just optimizing time for myself and doing things, right? So anyways, just want to talk about what it was like buying the deal with my wife. Obviously it's very easy for her. I'm handling all the stuff, and then she's like, oh, I want to do more of these because it's super passive for her. And then she actually told me to like buy the deal because it's half our money, right? It's her money, my money, so I can't be the only decision maker. And she was like, let's just try it and then see how it goes. And if it's great, then keep on going. If it's not as great as we thought, then it's okay. We can afford to leave the money in there. So we kind of get that risk versus benefit analysis in a way. So anyways, if you want to buy multifamily real estate with one-on-one coaching, with courses, click my link tree down below. From there, you can see links to all that. Send me an email. Also, I'm thinking of restarting my school community for $30 a month. If you're interested, please give a comment, send me an email so I can get a list going. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.